We're super excited. So Gabby, I want to know, and you're going to tell your story within this. I don't necessarily need you to go from beginning to end in that order, but I want to know what you felt like the hardest promotion for you to hit was and why.
This is going to sound so crazy. So for all of you guys that don't know, I am a triple diamond and I went triple in my first year. But honest to God, my hardest promotion, and it's going to be kind of a tie, and I'm going to go into detail as to why, was Ruby. And then my second hardest promotion was Diamond. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So the reason why I say Ruby first was because when I joined the business, you guys, I literally had no idea what I was doing. Drop a 1 in the comments if you joined the business and you were just like, what the heck am I doing? Okay. Because hi, I was there. So like, I will hopefully give you guys hope that you guys can go as far as you want in the business. Okay. But I had no idea what I was doing. I was working full time, 70 hours a week. So I was like the epitome of busy, living paycheck to paycheck. And I was just like, what the heck am I doing? Why am I adding another thing onto my plate? But I needed something to change. And before, when I was working the business, I was checking the boxes. Okay. So I was just doing the things that they were telling me to do. I wasn't investing in myself. I wasn't doing my self development, which just made everything so much harder. Okay. So if you take away one thing from this Zoom, invest in yourself because your business can only go and grow as much as you grow. And so I was literally stopping myself. And I didn't go Ruby, you guys, until I was 5 months in. Okay. And I probably, and who knows, I needed to go through the hard times in the battle of like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Oh my gosh, am I worthy? Oh my gosh, am I built for this? And Kelsey at that point in time was literally mentoring me one-on-one as if she signed me, and she didn't even sign me. The person who signed me quit 3 weeks in after I'd signed, and I was like, oh crap, what the heck? And so I had literally who I thought was like, okay, this chick is the ultimate. Like she knows everything. She's giving me all of the things. Like she, at that point in time, she was presidential. And I was like, okay, wow, this is amazing. She has all of the answers to the test. So I was just checking the boxes. And the reason why I think Ruby was so hard for me and why I said it was the most difficult promotion was because I was being my own blocker because I wasn't investing in myself. So it was just like I was going uphill with no traction at all. Okay. So that's the first like difficulty as far as promotion, why it was the hardest. Diamond, why it's a very close second, was because the reason why it took me, because I completely skipped Emerald and went to Diamond, and it took me 3 months, was because I was so self-conscious of me being a leader. I was like, I'm not worthy of leading this many people. Why would they want to join my team? I don't even really know like why they joined me in the first place. And like, I'm not capable of leading them. So it took me, again, another roadblock, me not believing in myself, not because I couldn't do the business, because I knew how to work the business now. Then it was, oh my God, I don't know how to lead. But what I then realized was, first of all, I just needed to surround myself with the right people and put myself in a mental headspace of what Diamond did, instead of thinking, oh, I'm just going to get to Diamond doing what I was for Ruby. Not it. Okay. There's a lot more people. There's a lot more dreams on your shoulders, because it's not only your dream anymore, it's the people that join you. And so that's the mental headspace that I had to switch to, which then I was like, once I understood that, it was like, it's so much bigger than me. So if you can learn that quickly, you will skyrocket in this business, because you have so much more fuel, not only for your own life to change, but for the people who join you, for their lives to change, because they're trusting you by joining your organization. And every single person who's on this Zoom, you are worthy of a team. And when I say a team, that could be one person, that could be 100 people. Okay. Because it doesn't matter. You could sign one person and they can go prez, right? So it's not the fact that you are your own limit. So you have to believe that you are worthy of it, that you can handle it, and you develop yourself and you listen to the Zooms and you show up and you ask your upline a ton of questions and you go to your ambassador upline and be like, "Hey, can I pick your brain about something?" Don't be afraid to ask questions, because when you're afraid, you hesitate, and hesitation equals fear. And then you're just not going to do anything. So once you can get over that hump of understanding, okay, I am limitless, I am boundless, I can act, I can do this thing, then you can go and do anything. And then you guys, I mean, I did the same things that I did for each promotion. I just did more. I just did more. And once you hit diamond, I feel like that is just so gratifying, because you know you can lead other people, and so you just add more tools to your tool belt. So I think, to answer your question, Kelson, I know that was long-winded, but hopefully people got something from that. But those are definitely the two hardest promotions.
It's so good. And I think I love what you said about like going diamond, you didn't feel necessarily worthy. And I think sometimes as a leader, and I think sometimes we confuse leadership with having all the answers. And that's just not the case, right? Like, I'm not a good leader because I know all the answers, because you can ask Alicia, who's on here saying that she annoys me with questions, and she doesn't, because a lot of times I'm like, oh, that's a good question. Like today she asked me about something about the cleanse and I was like, oh, I need to double check on that. Let me check, right? Like I still don't have all of the answers, but what I do know is that people can trust that I'm always going to help find the answer with them. And that's all a leader is, right? Is somebody who says, I don't know all the answers, but I know that I'm going to be here to help you find the answers too, because I also want to know that answer. And if we can shift our mentality of like, I have to know the answers to be a good leader, I have to put on this perfect face and this perfect attitude and this perfectness all the time, to I'm just going to be a real person who's ready to come alongside of you, who's going to check you when you're being negative, who's going to say, hey, get your head out of the gutter, who's going to say, hey, get your head, what did you want? What did you join this business for? Okay, let's focus on that. I don't have all the answers. What I do have is I want to help you get to where you want to go. That's what a leader is. And I care more about you getting to where you want to go than I do about if you like me in that moment of me telling you need to get your attitude right. And so I think that that's where the difference is between a friend and a leader, that a lot of people don't know, because they either go on one side and they're like a dictator and they're like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you're like, bruh, who are you? I joined this not to have a boss, back up. Or they go on the one side of like, I'm just going to be your friend and love you, but I don't know how to have the hard conversations with you. And I think if we can just say, like, my job as a leader is to love you enough to tell you when your attitude sucks. Love you enough to tell you, hey, you're really not doing those things that you said you were going to do. Can we figure out a way that we can make that happen? And not accusing anybody, but just coming alongside of them and say, let's do it together. Come on, let's go. We're going here. Nope, we're not going that direction. We're going this direction. And just shifting that. And I struggled with that too. And I was a dictator leader. So that's where I messed up, is when I was trying to go diamond, I was like, you need to do this and you need to do this and you need to do this, because I wanted to help them, but I didn't know how to communicate it in the right way. And so oftentimes it's not a heart issue of you guys needing to like become better people. It's a communication issue of just understanding, how can I communicate my heart? Because if you join this business, you have a heart to help other people. You do, or this business wouldn't have been brought into your life. It's just, are we communicating it in the correct manner? Okay, so Gabs, when you're in the middle of it, you say, okay, I went triple in my first year, and that sounds really fast to everybody. But in reality, that's a year. That's a long time. I mean, like a year in that's a lot of time to doubt yourself. That's a lot of time to feel discouraged. That's a lot of time to feel like I'm not making the progress I want to make as fast as I want to make it. What did you do, and how did you think about the times when there was that voice saying, is this all going to be worth it?
Ooh, this is gonna get deep. Okay, this is good. No, this is so good, because I wish somebody would have told me this when I was going through it, or before I even went through it, so then I could really prepare myself. So Oh, you guys, it was not a straight shot to the top. Let me just make that very, 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 very clear. Like, it wasn't like la di da. Like a year later, I was like triple diamond. Like, that was really freaking fun. No, it was freaking hard. Okay. And the entire time that I was doing the business, you guys, on the way to triple, I was working full time in corporate America. Okay. So if you're doubting yourself that you think that you have to go full time to be successful in this business, you do not. Okay. You just have to prioritize the business, like I was saying earlier. But when I was going through it, and there were a few times. So right before I went Ruby, I called Kelsey and I was bawling my eyes out in my car. It was pouring rain in Chicago because it was warmer in my car than it was in my apartment. And I was like, I can't do this. I don't know why it's not working for me. I'm going to quit, blah, blah, blah. And she had to have a hard conversation with me, which that's when we uncovered my issue of not doing self-development. So there was that. But I went diamond, and this is when I really remember hitting a massive, not necessarily wall, just like a overcoming feeling of like, okay, is this it for me? I hit diamond and I was literally just like, okay, I'm making 2 full-time incomes right now. This is amazing. I never thought I was capable of doing something like this. I was like on the top of the world. And then I pumped the brakes. Not necessarily did I mean, I didn't not work, but I wasn't working the way I was before when I was working to hit the promotion, and I dropped rank literally right before we went to conference. And this is like when everything was like pre-COVID, we were meeting everybody in person, like everybody was just like it was becoming real, and it went from diamond to ruby, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm a phony. I'm having imposter syndrome." Like, I just hit this rank and I won this like competition. So I was like in all these photo shoots and I got to meet Cami Pentecost live and I went to a freaking champagne toast with Mark Pentecost. And I was like, I wanted to like crawl out of my skin. Like I was like, oh my God, what the heck is going on? Like, am I a one-hit wonder? Am I worthy of this? Am I worthy of working this business? Like, can I do more than just hit this rank? And it's so much more, you guys, than a rank. I just want to say this so freaking clear. You're not doing it for the rank. And that's where my mindset then needed to elevate and evolve. Okay. It wasn't about the rank, it's the person that you're becoming while moving up in the company, and the ranks just follow. Okay. I'm going to say that again. You need to level up here. You need to become bigger here. You need to be able to understand more here and add more tools to your tool belt. So like thinking about what does a triple diamond do? Thinking about how does a double diamond work? How does a diamond talk to their team? And then you start to do those things and then guess what? You rank up. So it's not about the rank. Okay? It's really not. And yes, like compensation and all those things come with ranking up and it's all grand. But I think like what really got me through the tough time was doing a semi hard reality check on myself of like how small I was thinking and how small I was putting myself in a box that was just like, you're only worthy of this. Instead of thinking like, oh my God, look at all the opportunity that is coming for you if you continue. Because businesses go up and down like this, you guys. Like Target, Walmart, freaking TJ Maxx. Like we're legit as any other business. But the difference is you have complete control of your consistency and if you show up and if you do the work. And so if you continue, there is no failing. So like if you shut your doors, of course you're going to fail, right? If you turn off your e-suite, of course you're going to consider this a lost cause and a lost opportunity. But the best part about this type of business, if you do not give up, you cannot fail. If you do not stop, there's nothing that can stand in your way, and the only thing that can is you. And so I want you guys to really think about that and not think about it as, oh my God, like I didn't complete my entire KPI yesterday. I'm a failure. No. Okay. Those 10 things, they're 10 balls in the air. If you drop 2 today, make sure you pick up the 2 and make sure you're juggling them tomorrow and forgive yourself, give yourself grace, and then keep on juggling the balls. Okay. Keep on juggling, keep on moving, keep on shaking, keep on messaging, keep on getting your host posts up. Do the things that work for you and you cannot fail. Hopefully that makes sense.
So good. And it's so true, because I think grace is not something that we're taught. It sounds good, but we don't know how to practice it. Um and and I think that just understanding that, like, can we expect just to give ourselves hall passes every day and then go double diamond? No. No, we can't, because I feel like it gets taken one way or the other. But we also can expect to be successful if we're beating ourselves up for not being perfect, because that's just a recipe for burnout. And when we are in those times of feeling like, gosh, I'm juggling all these balls, I just have to figure out which one can I afford to drop today so I can pick up tomorrow. And trusting yourself. That involves a level of trust with yourself to say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And when I say I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm actually know I'm going to do it tomorrow. Because I've also been guilty of being like, I'll do it tomorrow. Didn't do it tomorrow. Okay, then I got to go get over that. So there is a level of trust that has to be established within yourself that if you say those things, you're actually going to do that. And when that happens, it really can help. But the reality is, you guys, is you're not going to be perfect. And your lack of perfection is not going to stop you from going diamond. Your reaction to your lack of perfection is what will stop you from going diamond.
Ooh, can I hit on that really quick?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that was so good. I just got chills. And what that brings up for me is when you think about your lack of perfection, right? I mean, drop a 2 in the comments if you are a recovering perfectionist. Like, hello, like me all day freaking long. Okay. I used to beat myself up for not walking in a freaking straight ass line. Okay. Same, like been there. But and Kelsey's laughing. And so because she knows me now and she's like, what the heck? But
I'm laughing because I literally also, like, that was really funny. But then I looked over at myself and everybody saw my whole mouth because I laughed my mouth wide open. Okay.
I'm dead. But what I want to talk about really quick, and then I'll let Kelsey ask the next question. The reaction to your imperfection is one of 2 things. You stop or you continue. And when you stop, that's on you. Like that's on you because you're paralyzing yourself. You're not moving and you can't drive a parked car. I have so many analogies in my brain that Kelsey has used like all over the 3 years of me listening to her just like paint all of these pictures in my brain that I'm just like, it's burned in here, like the car, the bus, the train, all of the things. And so if you do not move, you can't make a mistake, but you also can't move forward. And so what I did instead of paralyzing myself, which I literally, you guys, 9 times out of 10, before I started doing my self-development, before I started surrounding myself with people who are moving forward, I used to literally stop and sink myself into this hole of like, I suck. I'll never go anywhere. This is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly where I'm going to stay. This is a mediocre life and I'm okay with it. But when I then realized, okay, I dropped rank. And then I was like, okay, I know how to do the things. I'm surrounding myself with people who are seeing wins and speaking life to me and good energy. And you guys, when I say speaking life to me, I would go to like friggin' Joel and Stephanie Dunn's YouTube because it's on demand. Okay. They were my best friends. They just didn't know it. And I would like click in and I would just listen to them and just listen to what they were doing, how they were saying it, the energy behind it, how they kept it so simple, all of the things. And so then it made me want to move because I was like, damn, okay, cool. They're doing all the same things I'm doing, but they're just doing more of it. So I'm just going to go and just do it. And then I went from Ruby in January to Diamond in February to Triple Diamond in March. And so like that was the shift of Don't stop, continue, and then throw gas on the fire. And so you are literally either stopping yourself and sinking yourself into the hole that you are creating, or you're learning, you're adding value to yourself and your team and your knowledge bank of this business, because you guys, we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing, just dependent on who's doing more and who's doing it the most every single day. Okay? So I needed to hit on that because that triggered a thought.
No, it was so good. And I really believe that like quitting the business isn't just quitting, like I'm done with the business. Quitting is like the little daily decisions, right? It's not just like, oh, I'm done with the business. It's like, I'm going to watch Netflix instead of sending out my messages. That's quitting. And if you quit once, you can make a habit of it. And I'm not saying that you can't make the wrong decision ever, but you have to be aware of the easiest thing and the right thing are often going to be very different. Right? Like what's easy is not I almost drank sleepy tea instead of this. Yeah. Very easy. Like I think that it's because we're so used to doing those things. We're so used to taking the shortcuts. We're so used to like, I don't know, just getting involved in our feelings and how we feel. And it's like, if we work this business based on how we feel, we'll never get anywhere. But if you work it based on what you want, that's when you can truly make progress. And not to say that your feelings aren't valid, but they can't rule your life. You cannot run your life and get where you want to go based on how you feel. You will be bipolar. And I've tried it. Like, I'm not saying that I am, but I'm saying like I've literally been like in my feelings so much. And I'm like, well, I feel great. And I feel bad. And it's like, it changes like that. But what I want doesn't, in fact, if I base it on if I'm like, oh, let me just have some donuts. That's what I want. That's what I feel like having some dang donuts, not a protein coffee. Okay. No. But I do think that's real. It's like, we just have to recognize like so many of us are conditioned just to be like, well, do what feels good. But that's not getting you what you want. It's only getting what you want in the moment. It's not getting what you want long term. Okay, guys, let's talk strategy and like coaching. And you got your first team member. And then you're like, okay, I barely know how to do this. How am I supposed to help somebody else do this? And how did your mental growth in leadership like look, and learning how not only to lead yourself but leading yourself at the same time as you're learning how to lead other people, and what would you say to somebody who's intimidated by that?
Dang. So just an FYI to everybody, I didn't sign my first distributor until I was over a month in, and it was a girlfriend from college who's like my BFF. So it was all like a layup win. So it was like not even real. Like I was like, okay. But I will say, when I signed like my first new distributor, somebody that came through my network that I had no previous relationship with, it took me a while to understand this. So I want you guys to hear me loud and clear. If you are struggling with signing distributors, or if you're struggling to retain distributors, don't, and this is what I did. So, and I'm yellow, red, yellow, depending on the day. Which just is rule number one, understand their personality. So like we talk about color personalities all the time, like use that test to your advantage and listen to Zooms about the freaking color personalities. Kelsey does one that's super in-depth. I literally still have my notebook with like 4 pages of notes, because I got really curious about the different types of people, because yes, you will attract people who are like you, but you will bring people into your organization that are nothing like you. And guess what? You're going to be like, meh, what do I do? They're not motivated by money. They like to read things. No, that's not me. Like that was literally the opposite of me. Okay. And so then I started to realize like, okay, they're a human being. Let me just get to know them. Let me just get to asking them about their life. Let me jump on a Zoom and just get to know them like I was at coffee and understand what their job, what do they do for their job, or do they have kids, or like why like truly why did they want to join this business? Because taking the first step, you guys, is really freaking scary, and if they're willing to do that with you, there's some reason that they're pulling them towards you, and you might not know why, like the true deep reason why. And so if you open up and say, hey, like, I'm so excited about this and I'm so excited to do this with you. Let me open up and spill my guts why I did it. So they feel like the doors are open for them to open up to you, because what that does, it creates a relationship and a connection. And you should not be afraid to do that. And I used to be somebody who kind of had my walls up a little bit because I never really had any deep or long lasting relationships throughout my life. And so once I realized, like, okay, I'm obviously in this business for a reason. I joined for a reason. This person joined for a reason. Let's bond over that. Let's do it. Like, let's just like, it's going to be uncomfortable. So, like, get over yourself. Like, if you're thinking that this is going to be like, yeah, we're going to have mimosas on a rooftop the first time that we meet and it's going to be great. Like, no, like, it definitely is a process. And like, there's going to be people that you hit it off with right away, but there's also people that are going to be like an onion. You need to like pull the layers, pull the layers, pull the layers, right? And then you have to keep conversation and communication open. And so the next part of that, once you connect with them and create the relationship, you have to set a standard of like, hey, I'm going to text you every day. Like, I'm just going to text you every day. I'm going to check in on you, see how you're doing. We're going to go over a few things that we're going to talk about today on your training. And I just want to make sure that you are taken care of, and I'm giving you everything because you are a servant leader now. Okay. You have an extra responsibility on top of your own business to take care of somebody else. I'm not saying spoon feed them. I mean, obviously in the first 2 weeks, you guys, you need to be texting them in like in a 3-way group chat with your upline. If this is one of your first distributors, like, you should not be afraid to ask them for help because you've never done this before. So you shouldn't just be like, I think you should do this and I think you should do this and la-di-da. Like, ask for guidance, but also you know how to do this. So like, create the relationship, ask questions to your upline that you can then give the answers to your now downline, and just be open and honest. Hey, I just joined about a month ago and I'm still learning how to do this, but I've seen success doing this and I'm still doing this and it's so fun. And we have Zooms, like, let's do this together. And so really just like bringing them with you on the journey, because you will not have the answers. Oh, you will not have all of the answers. Excuse me. You will not have all the answers. I'm 3 years in and I still don't have all of the answers. So don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. And if they ask you a question that you do not know, don't feel ill-equipped. Guess what? We have team pages. You have an upline. You have direct messages that you have access to freaking Taylor and Kelsey and Alyssa and Connie and all of these VIP leaders that you have one-on-one access to. And so I think like that was like something that I kind of like, I was like, oh God, like, I'm not going to have all the answers. And so I was deflecting. I was like, I don't want to bring anybody in. I'm afraid because I'm not going to be good enough. But you will never be good enough unless you actually do it. And you will fail. And people will leave. And you will feel dumb. And so it's just one of those things that you just pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you learn something, and you move on. And the last thing that I'll say here is you can never, ever, 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 ever say the wrong thing to the right person. Okay? So it's not on you to make this thing look like a wrapped up perfect package with a bow on top for somebody to join. They have their own reason why. You are just their avenue to get to the business. Now it's their vehicle to get them where they're going, and you're just helping them. Okay? So you can literally, I don't believe that if somebody joins you, you can do anything within your power within their launching period to ever detour them. All you can do is help them. And if they take the information, great. And if they don't, you're doing you're messaging them, you're talking to them, you're creating the relationship, and then you're doing everything in your power to give them all the things that you have and you're growing as a leader during it. And so there's no loss there ever. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but I feel like that definitely would have
that was a word. That was a word. But I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. And I think, you know, it's funny because a lot of the things that I felt like I did right back in the day, I look back and I'm like, that was embarrassing that I even thought that was right. And then a lot of the things that I thought I failed at, or I thought I felt like a failure about, I'm like, that still happens to me. And it wasn't actually me. And so like, you really can't fail until you stop trying, right? And you really can't let somebody down unless you're doing something that you know you shouldn't. But when you know better, you do better. Right. So as long as you're learning, as long as you're saying, dude, I totally messed that up, bro. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, and I don't know where we got off as a culture of like apologizing and like not being able to like say that like you freaking messed up. Like I apologize every day. I apologize to my leaders. I apologize to like people that I've led. I apologize for like not showing up the way that I feel like I should. Because the reality is I do have a high standard for myself. And I do disappoint myself. And there are times that I'm like, I should have been better. I'm sorry. Like, there's no excuse. Now, is it easy for me to be like, yeah, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do, yeah, I would, but that's not who I want to be. And you get to choose that. And so don't be so afraid of failure that you don't ever try. Okay, let's open it up for questions.
Yes. Okay. So if you guys want to unmute yourself, I mean, feel free. Or if there's somebody on here that just has massive stage fright, if you want to put it in the chat, you absolutely can. But I am gonna wait for at least one person on mic and ask a question.
Come up, man.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes. Hi,
Hi. All right. So a month ago, I didn't know what a reel was. Okay. This is true story. When we're creating content like reels and TikToks and all these things that I have no idea about, and I'm just diving in, how much should have like products in them and how much should just be like fun and funny and like our personality? Or should any have the products in them? I honestly don't know.
I feel like I'm gonna use two different examples here because I feel like Taylor and Kelsey both rock the TikTok and reel game, but they do it in two totally different ways. Where and they're both effective. Like I know for a fact they both have enrolled for each. So honestly, what works for Tay is she does a little bit of fun, a little bit of product, and a little bit of business from what I stalk her on because I get a lot of my content from her. Because it's easy and I'm just like, I can't do the voiceovers like Kelsey. Like Kelsey's like literally, I'm like, this is her voice, and she does her own voices and I'm just like, I can't do that. But Taylor like has like such a good flow of like her own personality. She's like spicy and flirty and cute and fun. And then she also like shows the products sparsely. It's not all product, so don't get me twisted there. But I do know she has sold coffee there, so like go to hers and like look at what she does because I think that she does it very elegantly. And then Kelsey, she is like she knows exactly what her pillars are for her personality. It's like her family, God, being a freaking fun person, just pure fun all the way around. And she's
I don't know Kelsey at all, so this is helpful.
Heck yeah. Well, if you don't, you will after tonight because she's awesome. You should definitely follow her. And so Kelsey Thornton, and you should go to her TikTok. You should go to her Facebook page. You guys, I highly recommend for anybody who's either new or been in the business for a while, go and get some newfound just perspective and inspiration from top leaders on our team. And their faces are very prominent. You know who the top leaders are. They're all over our pages. They're always shouting out. They're always doing the most. And like, they are there to be a resource, not only like this, but their pages in general, because obviously what they're doing is getting them to the top ranks in the company. So if you copy the right cat, you will get exactly where you want to be if that's where you want to go. So that's the advice that I recommend for you, Heather, is there is no right way to do it. You just have to do it and just go and get inspiration from different leaders in the company, for sure.
I love that. I love that. Hi, Heather. Good question. So I think for me, my answer would be very similar to Gab's, is like, you kind of got to put your own twist to it, right? But I think the biggest thing with Reels is what Reels have done for me is broaden my audience. Nobody has came to my page and enrolled because of an opportunity reel. They've came to my page because of a fun reel or a Christian reel or another reel, and then eventually saw the opportunity reel or TikTok. Does that make sense? So what I try and do is think about, who do I want to attract? I want to attract people that I'm automatically going to have something in common with. Well, what kind of things do they think are funny? Well, the same things I think are funny. So if I think it's freaking funny, somebody that wants to be my friend better think this is freaking funny too, right? So I'm like thinking of that. And then I'm like, I'm just going to post those things because those are the people that I want to come to my page, people that know God, that just have fun with life. And I'm going to do more of those and then sprinkle the business and the products on top. Because in reality, yes, they're joining the business, but more than joining the business, they're joining me. And so I don't want the business to be more front and center than I am, because they can join the business with anybody. I want them to come to me. And so I think that makes it pretty easy when you're trying to like organize it in your head. It's like me with a little bit of business, me with a little bit of product, right? And so always making it exude your personality. And then I would say, like, if you're looking for like a technical number, I would say 1 out of every 3 to 5 make a business, and same thing with the product. That would be how I run it, because I am just looking for followers, because I know once I have followers on my page and they like the content, they're going to eventually join the business or purchase the product. Okay, good question. Okay, let's go. We'll do one that was written. Gab's here's. Just had a really rough patch in a personal life, a family death. How did you manage your business through things like that? I totally fell off the wagon. I'm trying to catch back up, but how do you balance big life things with the business?
Ooh.
By the way, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Heather for unmuting herself, because that was very brave. And so
Yes.
I just want to say thank you for doing that.
Amazing. I was thinking that, but then I forgot. Squirrel brain. Thank you for saying that. So Amber, thank you so much for being so vulnerable also in the chat. Because I mean, for anybody that's ever gone through life while working the business, drop a 4 in the chat. This business, it can literally withstand anything, but it also can be affected by a lot. And my personal experience when I was going through things, it was just, I would give you advice, Amber, of not setting the bar so high and just showing up for your business with what you have. Instead of showing up at 0, if you can only show up at 10, if you can only show up at 20%, instead of holding yourself to an 80, to a 90, to 100%, and then thinking that you're a failure. I think that we have a mistake of, when we do something, a lot of us, we want to do it and we want to do it really well, and we want it to be polished and we want it to be beautiful and we want to check all the boxes and do all the things. But with a business like this, if you completely throw the brake on, it will take some time, like you said, to catch up. And so for you, like, obviously take the time that you need. But the best part about this business is that little things that you can do for your business, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, having things scheduled, leaning on your upline, asking for help, Like I have had so many people throughout my business and they're like, hey Gab, like I'm going through a really hard time. Like I just don't know what to do. And I would just send them pre-written posts, stories to throw up, things like that. So you're never alone. I think like that's something that's really unique about this community is like, we actually care like about you. We don't care about where you're at in your business. We care about you. And so like you should never be afraid to reach out if you're having a bad day. And this goes for anybody. Like if you're going through things, don't try to shield it. Like don't try to avoid it. Like don't like crawl into your hole and like try to
call the kettle black.
How did I know you were going to say something? And so this is another lesson that I've learned that Kelsey has definitely helped me through. Is lean on people and ask for help and don't try to do it alone. I think that's my number one advice for you, Amber, is you're never alone, and you can obviously let somebody in and let your team in or your upline in as much as you would like, but just like don't shut down and don't shut them out. The fact that you're here tonight showing up for your business, that should be something that you give yourself a pat on the back on and say, okay, I did that today. What can I do tomorrow? What's one thing that I can do for my business tomorrow? And then if you're feeling better, what's 2 things that I can do? And then work your way back up instead of feeling like you're catching back up, because that's stress, that's anxiety, that's something that isn't fun or something you want to do. And so just treat your business like something that you love, like treat it with love and care, and like as if it's your partner. If you can show up for your partner 20%, great. At least you're showing up. So Kels, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, that's so good. What you said was so good. The only thing I would add is honestly just really one thing that I've tried to do, and I wasn't great at this at first because I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I think that when you can be vulnerable and not like cry and ask for pity, that's not what I'm saying, and like start a GoFundMe for yourself. Okay. By no means what I say, that's not what I'm saying. But like, if you can share like, hey, I just had somebody like pass away in my family, you know, and I'm not telling you how to run your business. This is just something that happened to me. So my grandpa passed away. I've been in the business 6 years. So you can imagine there's been a lot of life that's happened. I've had a baby, I've been pregnant, I've had, you know, all the things. And my grandpa passed away. And I remember going live on my Facebook, driving down to Louisville, and just being so upset, but also being so grateful that I even had the opportunity to make extra income while I was gone. And it wasn't even like a sales ploy of like, join my team. Like, it was just like, I'm so grateful that like I can pick up and go in a second when stuff like this happens, when real life happens. And because yes, you see my highlight reel and you see the polished pictures and the filters, but like I'm also a human and I also have life happen. And I think there's something very authentic about sharing some of the life that happens. You know, why do we all watch the Kardashians? Because they fight on there, because it's real life on there. And like people are interested in seeing life. They don't just want to see all of the good. And I'm not saying it should be your complaining trash can that you go to. But what I am saying is you say, hey, you know, I'm making my coffee, I'm really sad today, or, you know, whatever. And you're just there showing people that it's not always rainbows and butterflies, you know? And this is some of the behind the scenes stuff that happens. And it's not always a pressure to compare your best moment to my highlight, like your best moment to like every day that happens in between and all the moments that happen in between. So I think for me, I would just challenge you to like open up on your social media, especially now that you've taken a step back and now that like you're kind of ready to get back in. Maybe even say like, I'm so grateful for the support and the community that I had during this time with my business, you know, and knowing that this is so much more than income, and using it as like a reminder, almost journaling like to yourself, and make that a post. You know, I view posting sometimes as like therapy for me, because it allows me, it's a way for me to express myself. And so just allowing that to be something, and not that it has to be this like, join my team, coffee, Thermobite, Like, that's not how it has to be. Social media is meant for us to connect, and people can't connect with you if you're not real and you're not honest and you're not being true about what you're going through, because it can always be framed in a positive light. The worst situation can always be framed in a positive light. And the one thing I tell myself when I'm having a bad day, and usually I'm having a bad day over something really stupid. Okay, if I'm just being transparent with you, I'm like having a bad day. I'm like, get your crap together. People are going through way worse things. Like, I have to remind myself. And so all of you guys who aren't going through a big thing like Amber's going through, but maybe it's just like you're just in a mood, right? And you don't even know why you're freaking in a mood, and you're just in a freaking mood. Like, yeah, been there. Okay, maybe it's just me. That's fine. But I will just tell myself, like, people are going through such harder things. And I do have to remind myself of that a lot, and just be like, you can do this. Like, people are going through harder things, and you can do this too.
So good. So freaking good. I just want to hit on one last point before I read the next question. The most genuine connections and the most genuine conversations of people reaching out to me were when I posted about my body dysmorphia, when I posted about me being cheated on, when I posted about me going through really, really tough times, because you never know who you're going to speak to, even if they're not going through the same situation, or even if they have any idea what the heck you're going through, you are going to strike a chord with them to say, oh my gosh, somebody gets me. And then that'll be something that you're like, wow, I'm not alone. And so you will give yourself peace and healing through putting that out there and sharing it. I promise you, like, it's uncomfortable in the beginning, you guys, but like Kelsey said, like, my platform now is like almost like my diary, like my journal. And you have no idea what an impact you can have on others just by sharing your heart. So I love that. And thank you again for asking that question. That was so good. And Kelsey, I think this is so freaking perfect that we're ending on this, because we are so different this way. The last question that we're gonna answer from Ellen is, how do you schedule your days out for your business so you're hitting all of the steps each day, working a full-time job, and life in general? So do you want me to start? Do you want to start?
I'll let you start.
Okay.
Like, I'll just make myself look like not very organized.
No, I wish I could still get all the things done with all of the responsibilities that you have. And it's just me. So, like, by the way, you guys, I'm single. The only responsibility I have now is a dog. So, like, I don't really have a lot. But I was like working this business full time. While working full time. And this is literally what my Google Calendar still looks like. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm scheduled almost to a fault. And this isn't going to work for everybody, but it did work for me when I was working in corporate America in sales, and promoting in this company. And so what I will say is, if you don't plan your day, at least for a person like me, if you don't plan your day will plan you. Okay. And so if you don't have scheduled times to work the business, you will get to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and you're just like, oh my God, I didn't do the things that I said I was going to do. And so when you are working the business with a busy schedule, you need to have timers, alarms, scheduled work time for this business, preferably in the first half of your day. And I've had multiple one-on-one conversations with leaders on here about their schedules and like doing this thing. And I promise you, like, it has helped them so much. So like, if you wake up before 6:30 in the morning, you need to wake up 30 minutes earlier. And if you wake up after 7, you need to wake up an hour earlier. And that might sound harsh, but if you want this business to work, you need to make time for it. And in the morning, that is when you do your self-development first. You pour into yourself, you drink your water, you journal about your dreams, and then you message your face off, you post, and you do all of the income producing activities. Okay. And that is literally how I worked my business. Every single day, I would wake up at 5 a.m., work the business, do my self-development, and make my coffee all within the first hour of my day, with time still to get ready for work, shower. I was in business professional, you guys. I literally had to have my hair done, my makeup done, the whole thing. And then I would go to work. And then, so then the rest of the day was overflow. So then I would have messages in my inbox when I would be on my lunch break and I would be messaging people back. And then when I would be walking home or taking the bus home from work, I would have people to message back, or I was sending messages or doing the things. And so you have to schedule time. And then every time you pick up your phone, you're doing something for your business. But if you don't schedule it and if you don't get the things done, you're going to be playing catch up by the end of the day. And that's, like I said earlier, it's anxiety, it's stress. It doesn't become fun. This is going to become a burden. You're going to start to resent the business. And this business can literally change your life. There's no reason why you should resent it. You just need to own it. You just need to own it and work it like a business, and it will pay you like a business. You will operate like a business owner. So you need to schedule your days, especially when you are working full time, and you have kids, or you have a significant other, because when you are scheduled like that, knowing that you got all of your things done, when you put your phone down, you don't feel like, oh God, I need to check it. Oh God, I need to do more. Oh gosh, I need to do this, that, and the other, right? You can detach and spend time with your kids. You can detach and spend time with your fiance, husband, boyfriend, whatever, girlfriend, whatever. So that would be my advice. Kels, do you want to jump in here?
Yeah. I think that here's the thing, you have to find what works for you. And I have tried almost all the things, I feel like. And I really feel like there's been times where it's worked. Certain things have worked for me. And then something shifted, we moved, a kid got older, something changed, and it just didn't necessarily work anymore. And so what I will say to you is I can work the way that I do because I'm in the habit of working. If you're not in the habit of working, you have to set a schedule so you'll get in the habit of working. Right? Like if I know, for instance, I was not in the habit of working 6 months ago. Your girl had to reset and have some calendar like Gab's and be like, line by line, this is what I have to do. And I did not like it. I'm just going to tell you, I did not like it, but I did it because I knew that I had to reset my system. And then now that I have it, I have more freedom and flexibility. And in reality, I think before I used to think that a schedule was a lack of freedom. Like I was a prisoner to my schedule. But the reality is that you are a prisoner if you don't have a schedule. You're a prisoner to the things in your head that you know you should get done, that you haven't gotten done, that you're thinking about all day, that are consuming your thoughts, that if you just would have written them down and gotten them done, they wouldn't be holding you in prison anymore. And I've had to learn that the hard way. And so it might not be a Google Calendar. Mine is a hard calendar. I like having like a written calendar, like I'm old school pen and paper, but you have to figure out like what works for you, and don't stop until you figure it out. And then once you figure it out, guess what? You're probably gonna have to figure something else out. You know? And for me, I just like to change things up. I don't like to do the same thing. It's freaking boring to me, okay, if I'm just being honest. And I don't like to do that. So like I want to change things up. I need some spontaneity. And so if something is like, oh, well, that didn't really work, I don't beat myself up because I figure it out, try it again the next day. And then the next day. And so like, yes, like I know that there is promotions that you're pushing for, and I know that, but the reality is if you want it bad enough, you're going to find a way to get it done. You're going to find a way. So trust yourself that like, I could give you all the best scheduling tips in the world, which would be hilarious if that was really it. If I really did give you those scheduling tips, but somebody could give you really good scheduling tips. And if you didn't want to get it done, you wouldn't. Also, you could have the worst schedule in the world and be the least organized person and still get it done. And so you have to figure out your flow and your vibe, because it does ebb and it flow. It pushes and it pulls. And so don't be so strict that you forget to enjoy the process. Right? And don't be so structured that you're like, well, I can't do that. Like that's never the way that I wanted to live. I do have to say no to things so that I can say yes to things later. Absolutely. Absolutely, I do that. But I choose which ones I do. So I think a lot of the things that I had to say no to, they were easy no's for me. They were easy no's. And some of them were even full no's. It was just like, I can't watch 3 hours of a Netflix show, but I sure as heck can watch one. And so figure out what works for you and decide what life you want to live. That's up to you. That is not up to me to tell you or Gabby to tell you. But you can't complain if you don't give up the Netflix show and you don't go diamond. So be careful and just recognize that, like, in order to be as successful as you say you want to be, you also are going to have to trade some other things off. Because when you join this business, you don't get more hours in the day. And so is it tough to try to figure out a new schedule? It can be if you look at it that way, but it can also be very liberating and free you from some of the junk that you probably shouldn't be spending time doing anyways. So I don't know if you consider that tough. I just know that, like, it's an adjustment, and those are two different things. Just adjusting your priorities and making sure you're focusing on the right things and the things that are actually making you become a better person and making you money. That's kind of my motto. Like, if it's not making me a better person, if it's not fun, it's not making me money, probably not going to do it. Right? And there were a lot of things that I was just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. But did I really want to do it? Was that really a great use of my time? If I really want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 40, have $1 million in the bank, is that something that a millionaire would do? Probably not. So I'm going to have to hold myself to a different standard, not because this business is forcing me to, but because that's what Kelsey said she wants. So I better hold her to that standard. Does that make sense? And so I think that, like, I had and I'm explaining all of this because I didn't always have it figured out. And I did resent the business for, like, feeling like I was a prisoner to, like, I can't go out and have mimosas on Sunday. I can't do this. And, like, feeling like that. But the reality is like, I gave up that with people, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, with people who weren't going in the direction of life that I wanted to go in. And now I traded it off to do it with people who are freaking millionaires and have freaking, like, have goals and dreams and ambition, and the conversation, the level of conversation over the mimosas is so much freaking better. So I would trade it over 10,000 times because of that. And so a big part of it is, like, not just what you're spending your time doing, but who you're also spending your time with. And those are very important things. So I know that was long, and I know that we're over, but this was good. And I hope you guys got some value from this. And Gabby, thank you for letting me jump in with you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so lit. I'm just like, let me go work the business, but it's like 11 o'clock here. I'm like, it's past my bedtime. But you guys are amazing. Again, for all the people that stayed on this entire time, you are investing in yourself, and this is just going to reflect in your business. So take all of the tips. Don't just sit here and say, yes, this is so good. I feel on fire. Go and do something. Go and do something, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. For all my night owls, you'll probably be up for the next few hours. Good for you, but I'm going to bed. But, like, in the morning, I'm going to be lit. I'm going to be using all of these tips and using all the fire and doing all the things. So use this as a weapon for your business. And we love you guys, and we appreciate you guys, and we want to see you guys here every single Monday. I get just as much out of these as any of y'all do. So I'm just so proud of each and every single one of you. And let's crush this week.
Hey, I also want to remind everybody on here, if you guys don't know, on every Monday through Friday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern time, 7:15 a.m. Central, we have a prayer Zoom. Mm-hmm. It is open for anybody to hop on. You come, you can turn your camera on, you can turn your camera off. A different leader leads them every single day, and we pray over anything. And so if you just need a new way to start your morning, and you are just like, I just want to be in a different circle, get on the prayer Zoom. They will, and I don't know why I felt like compelled to share this, but, like, I feel like not a lot of people, like, newer people know about it. And we have the big group, same group that comes on, and I want you guys to join. Yep, 7:15 Central. And your prayer requests are prayed over, but you also hear, like, a little bit of like a devotional or whatever the leader feels like sharing. And I feel like it will be so good, and it's such an awesome way to start your mornings, and just feel, like, connected to everybody in the business, but also feel connected to God. And he is at the center of our business, and he is the CEO, and it's just so much easier to run your business when he's running it because yeah, we're all flawed as humans. And so I just hope that you guys give it a chance. And even if you can hop on one day, hop on one day. And even if you can hop on for the whole time, hop on for 10 minutes, and you'll get something out of it. But they're all so good. And I encourage you guys to hop on if possible. So I'm going to close out in prayer unless you want to, Gabs.
You go for it.
I'm going to challenge you. Go ahead.
Okay. I knew you were going to do that. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and I just want to thank you for providing us the space to be able to pour into so many people so easily via technology, but also for just bringing these people into this business and in the opportunity, because we know for a fact that you put this into their lives for a reason. And so I just pray that they feel confident. I want you to give every single person under the sound of my voice just an extra dose of confidence, of energy, of faith in themselves and courage to work this business the way that they see themselves working this business, like with all of the excitement that they had before they joined. When they clicked the submit button, and they know that it was scary, but there's something that's calling them to this opportunity to change their lives. And so just give them that crystal clear vision as to why you brought them here, Lord, and just to give them all of the tools and bring the right people into their lives to be able to move their businesses forward and change people's lives, help people with their health and also with their financial situation, because that is truly why you have put us here, Lord, is to change lives, to move mountains, and to bring people into this community, not only to help them, but just to help them grow, to help them see what they're capable of, and to also just bring us all closer to you, Lord, because without you, we could not do any of this. And so we are in constant pursuit of building your kingdom every single day. And we thank you so much for the opportunity to do so. And in your name we pray. Amen. I love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.